The plane is ready to go. It is map number 3, and yeah, you said it. Get to look at the massive environment we are going to deal with, and I'm just excited to see where the zone pulls, because you can have a lot of very different end zones depending on where it pulls. The biggest thing is it doesn't have a ton of water. Other than the rivers at the northern and southern ends, there are pretty clean traversal routes in terms of the roads and open fields you can take as well.
Oh yeah, and well, from two sides, from two directions, and like we said, this is an extremely large-scale map, which also means there's going to be a bunch of movement, a lot of vehicles, but also a lot of positions to people to just nicely sit in, camp around, and get those shots. Now teams, of course, it may seem right now that they're currently dropping very close, but the second you realize how actually gigantic this map is, well, it's going to get a bit more clearer that they are nowhere close to each other.
And obviously on Aranco, we were able to see a lot of teams laying far apart. It wasn't until about Phase 3 that we saw those duels really start to flow in and that damage to follow. But it also means that you can get isolated even more so. If you're a player that's looking for a vehicle, searching for some extra loot, you can stray away from your team and just run into another random solo that'll initiate some of those one-on-ones. And for Grove Street, I mean, a team that is currently in second place, has had 2 back-to-back very consistent games. They're looking to have another.
Oh, yes, they are. Some mollies on the way. Gotta get the heat up and burning. But currently, well, no kills. Again, this is that early game, but we do have some teams quite close by. It's going to be Aragiri and Typhon, but only one player or maybe 2 against the entire squad. That's a tough battle.
That change up here from Aragiri is they just love to fight. It feels like every single facet of their competition is designed by how they take duels, and not noticing that player down low in the compound. Carrick has got the AUG at close range, but I do wonder if the barrel maybe sticking out a little bit towards the door there does have the one singular nade to work with in the back pocket as well.
A singular one indeed, but maybe that's going to come out the count. Currently, we're still in the Phase 1. The zone won't be pushing anyone out of their discomfort or comfort, whatever you want to call it, but what matters most is that Typhon right now, look at the movement. Look at how it has switched up. Earlier, we saw the map. Everyone was just running and gunning, spreading across. Now, it's just lurking in these corners and making sure you're not the one to fall to a shot.
For Carrick will kind of hold their position with this crossfire, not wanting to give over any sound cues that you're here either, trying to re-engage on those different angular positions. It's going to be Grove Street, and Vazu has been one of the first to drop on this team in kind of those back-to-back games. Even though they are the number 2 overall team, definitely don't want to give over anything easy. Seifu was up there tied for 3rd place on overall kills from that last match with 3, so hoping to replicate that performance.
Hoping to replicate it. Oh, the Triangle of Doom Typhon are forming around Aogiri, looking to lock them down. I can only imagine the only cue of information here will be sound alone, maybe shots once they come through, but yet none have been delivered, and even one of the players from Typhon coming around is a bit of a, you know, they're having a blast, just having a tour around the map.
Trying to get a ride quickly to maybe a position as this map already starts to zone itself in. Just Phase number 1 is where we're starting. For Marunenix will try and find their way through the pastures as well. And on their own right now, for Chop Chins, the team in current first place, mostly because of that 20 bomb they dropped in that last game.
Oh, Chop Chins. Now, you may have delivered that mark on your back for other teams to look out for, but I like the way they think. Taking this absolutely isolated mountain, which also allows a huge amount of vision, but what I very most am terrified for them is that it doesn't provide as much coverage as some may think.
It's a little bit more open in terms of the aerial view from it. So for Samler, not wanting to replicate their game number 1 performance where they really didn't get any kills, didn't get any elims, instead Aogiri's going to be the first to strike with a knockdown onto Sam Crow.
Ooh, that's gonna be the first one of the match, and it took around 5 minutes to get to it. As Aogiri, they found themselves in a very unreliable position. Some maybe even call it a position where some would lose. In losing battle, they won, and Aogiri with a second down for Typhon, as they will be the ones to take initiative and get themselves a second. Just not a finisher yet, but that soon could be coming to fruition.
SH has got to watch that position, sees ahead, peek out on the high ground, and then takes the shot. It's going to be Carrick fully finished off. And now those final 2 members getting circled in on. Aogiri, I feel like their goal here, though, has to be to not lose any members. They have been a crew that has fought and fought and fought. But the problem is, if you keep fighting and you lose those early members, especially at a big map like this, it's going to be tough to win those end zones.
Aogiri, they don't have the mechanicals, nor do they have any engines to go with, so might as well use those legs, pedal to victory, and get on a bike, some cardio in the meanwhile. But also, what it shows is that Typhon have been holding back a bit too much. We saw them playing very cautiously, which ended up being the downfall to them. And look at this ride. Now, this is absolute aura we're seeing from Aogiri Tree. What an absolute buzz we get to have.
They actually might run into another team towards their right side that is also carting away. Looks like possibly that actually didn't get a clean look on who that was. So another crew will just say riding right on by them. Storm on request, looking healthy.
Looking healthy indeed. Don't need any medication right now, but they're looking to have some people taste their own. Well, Storm on request absolutely alone on that gray field as Grove Street. They're going to be leaving Samler in the dark. Now, Storm on request will be in the meanwhile finding a kill onto Jambo for Dogs. And again, early initiation is probably the worst news you can be given with, especially when it's your own loss that's handy.
A little bit interesting for Storm on request here. They are a crew that we know can fight. They're sitting at only 7 points after maps number 1 and 2 combined. So I don't hate them fighting for some more early points. They've got a lot of really good shooters, as one of the Dogs will be finished off. Kato gets another long-range knock as well, and this crossfire positioning just too dirty. The Dogs, it looks like, are down to just 1 member.
Storm on request, you call them up and they'll be the ones to answer. Now looking for those 4 wheels to get some hot ones in the process and driving about at the speed of sound and going even 80. That may be out of the limit zone, but it matters not for them as they're just looking to ram. They're looking to hack some heat and Tratentes, even shooting some birds out of the air. Definitely having some play pigeon shooting, although not connecting all of those shots, maybe some, but at most, if you don't find that kill, those bullets sadly will go to waste.
Good news for Cake, has about 200 of those DMR bullets for the MK12 to just continually pop out and pop some shots. It's gonna be a nice long-range shot, though, from Seifu, and that'll take down 4 Dogs at 16th.
That it definitely will, and just a very early fall. It definitely brings it down to 15 teams. I don't think that number is going to be going any lower for quite a while now, but 4 Dogs, they have shown such good early aggression, but that's what ends up being the downfall to them. Early shots as well from Grove Street, and they're trying to take out Samler, the competition, as soon as they can, because again, kill points have shown to really bring you to the top of the leaderboard. And Mira Gaming, another one of those teams that you really want to be careful into not stepping into the line of sight of. But what a simple headshot from Aogiri, the name that I can't read, but Eve Pisa will fall.
That's a beautiful long-range shot there, and honestly, I don't know if they're going to be able to get the finish, but that could honestly just be a nice little long-range opener, possibly from that Mini 14. Can just do a ton of damage as Kalanzine kind of watches over those hills, might be hearing some footsteps nearby, as it looks like Aogiri, they just want to fight. That is their mentality, and they're not going to change their game plan.
No, they won't. Right now, locked in. Mira, that's done. That's fine, but Aogiri, they've been looking for some vengeance. They've been one of those late teams that always end up getting teamed up against. And right now, coming in close with the buggy, what are we thinking, Aogiri? That's an easy loss, an easy kill for Fakeson as he takes advantage of him and into comfort zone. An early kill for the first one, and points contributed towards Mira Gaming.
I get that res as well. I mean, Mira, ultimate victor. Samler, ooh, there's a member of Grove up on top of that rock. It's a nice high ground position, but it also means literally everybody in the area can see you are up there. So one missed peek can cause you to lose your life, and especially for a team like Grove Street, they want to stay as healthy as possible, as it looks like they're trying to bring another player up to the high ground.
Oh, Vazo! Look at him go, flying through the skies as a kite, and just having an overlook across the entirety of the horizon. Now diving down deep, he's checking out those points, and he might have spotted onto a possible victim. But yep, we hear those tings. We hear someone maybe shooting at him, and right now we can take a look at the position of some of these teams, as a lot of them still have the full player alive, but with now 7 teams, or rather 7 players being taken out, that's going to be leaving some teams down to their final 2 or 3.
Samler's still up healthy at 4, though. Xerath, that mini 14, we talk about the dangerous DMR, and especially with that magazine that it's got, the 4X and a 20 capper, is able to put in some shots towards the skyline. Does have to really watch, though, making a lot of noise. 7 actually got that move towards the other building set while Xerath was shooting as the plane.
Wavelength here for Samler, still keeping it up, and Oak Grove has been spotted out, but they're not going to be really revealing their position so easily. And look at the positioning from Grove Street here. Like we said, from GTA, the classic game, now they're looking to make themselves a classic retribution from map number 1, going on, not only gathering information on all of these teams, but the entirety of the 3 players that are down to ground level will be following along the player all the way from top.
Fire gets a knockdown there, gathering the information and relaying it over to the team. It's going to be Godzilla who drops down towards the long-range AUG shots of Project. Project's back, has got the kill finish, and earns the 2nd kill of this match, but Wows is going to fall.
Wows will fall, and that's a crash landing from Vazo. An unfortunate one, but it doesn't get him killed, so I don't think it matters much more than that. Maybe going to be limiting how much you can fly much longer, but for now, oh, Stirpic, he has a bit of an eyesight onto XXP, as that may be some danger causing to whatever remains here of Empire. These 4 players, this may be their first loss.
Got to be careful about watching every angle. Even though we talked about the coverage is there on the map, there is so many open spaces that can battle it through. Empire look to engage on their next target. The teeth are ready to sink in as the nade goes in. It's a Panzer launcher that takes down the first, quickly traded out. Storm K dropped with the nade. A 1-for-1, quickly evolving here, but Empire are just blowing open this fight. Nade after nade. How much you want? Trentantes need to get some shots to fight back.
Oh, spread that salt onto the wound. 2 players already gone. Well, let's make it an extra 2 and double down onto that score. Tretantes have caught the most of it, and Empire is slowly closing in onto the final 2 as they're looking around these building sides, trying to hang on for their dear life. And no, those shots will not be bringing the downfall of them. Now you try to look away, you're trying to help your teammate, but from the behind, the sap comes through, and it's the cold shoulder you're handed as Empire Gaming. 2 may have been down. Will you go for the finish and greed out those points? No, but XP definitely will do as Dark Hunter falls. 1 more remains inside the building. You're making sure it's all safe and sound. The shore bob here will be absolutely huge. And now the final from Chitantes, trying to escape away. Does get a kill with it. Gustav falls. And well, another elimination. That's confirming the elimination of the entire team. Empire Gaming have officially eliminated Tritantes.
They lose 1 overall, should be able to get that res, but immediately hopping over to Samler, who have no kills yet this game, but are searching for an elimination onto the Barbarians of Safa. Xerath is just on a run here, though, and trying to utilize what little cover they have. Hollow is a nice little crossfire, but they're down 2 members here in this fight.
Down 2 members indeed. A stressful situation. Samler, since the beginning, we've been constantly having an overlook of how their performance has been going. And now kills have really become a lot lower of a possibility, as a lot of teams, again, are really taking these positions where they can hold their ground positively enough to only lose a player at their maximum. What was displayed by Empire sides. Sandler now holding out with smoke, some random bags. You are blindsided, but you're still hoping to get a possible shot or a piece of damage through it.
210 5.56 ammo here for the AUG of Hot Diggity. Look to use that ammo to do some damage, but Diggity would drop. It's the shots towards the body from Zareth that send him down. The Panzer goes wide. Here's the shots from the AUG on the other side. Samler is ripping through them. That is 3 already in total. 2 knocks as well. And Hot Diggity barely gets in time up before that nade exploding open this fight. The damage is there. Is it a 2v4 win? It's all down to the one and only Viking. The Barbarian needs to fight their way back, but the corner peaks will take him down to 35 HP, and it doesn't matter that the zone is closing. This fight slowly closing in. Samler, 2v4 elimination.
The final saying by Samler, 2 players managed to wipe them out, and the Barbarians were left back in the past, where they came from, a historic relic, and now to be left for the dead, as Samler now move on with 4 extra kills for the tally, even moving car-wise. And one of the players, Hallow here, will be left behind just to maybe loot himself up. Now we can take a look at the entirety of the teams. Again, no one's going to be really focusing on that perfect pitch point center side of the map. Everyone just surrounding it, as again, that does tend to cover most ground. And in the meanwhile, it matters most because you don't get to be the point of attention.
Point though for 7 Gaming has earned some points. They have not been able to really pick up the games they've wanted in maps number 1 and 2. TBA starting to get involved as well, as one of the kill threats of Empire in XP is dropped towards all 4. Storm on request starting to surge back in as they've made their way in towards a little treehouse up with some coverage.
Moment of surprise, here comes the shot. Finding 2, maybe 1 Squinzy, he's going to be more than satisfied with it as long as he has some control, acting as the Papeteers. Chopped Chins earlier managed to take it away. Now, may have not gotten kills much, but what matters, the majority of, is going to be their placement. Currently, they're going to be in the top 12. Samler will be eliminated as the 13th, thanks to the name of MFP being the executors, judge, and jury. And now many more engagements to come about as 2 teams, Empire and TBA. It's a 4v3, and let's see if Empire can really hold their ground.
Empire have got those 3 players still alive. They've got 4 kills in total as well, but just driving their way safely out. 6 smokes in total for Shinboy, as Mira getting involved too. Fakes in, getting a knock onto one of the Savage members, and this zone is slowly starting to push the teams together. We've got 42 alive, but this phase could be a lot different as soon as this zone starts to close in.
Oh, the seasoning, the zone, what really pushes and forces these teams to come down to these gunfights. Fairy Tale still lurking building side, 1 player for 1, the others spread out through the rest of the map. And Fairy Tale, let's have a look at them. Again, coverage is going to be quite nice, but Savage, oh, we see the entirety of their roster completely bunched up, compact, a ready target practice to be shot down in any moment. But Shinobi from Empire will the first one to take a bow as Aogiri forced the knee down.
Giri have survived 3 members in towards this phase 4, and a huge little team fight for them across this tree line, waiting for XP to cross. We'll pop some shots there. Shinboy didn't actually back up behind the tree, is just out in the complete open, and that allows these MK12s and M24s to just rain down from above. For SDF, has only a few shots in the magazine, but is just going to start to put pressure on towards those smoke positions.
It's a wake-up call for Empire. The smoke is maybe going to be their one savior, but more graces are to await. A pickup onto him, a down onto Aragiri's SH3, and now more shots as well. Oh, the Dragunov, those shots, like we said, absolutely terrifying, but from the back line, Mailkil will fall into the hands of Sekretsens, and that's another one for the count. Yet again, Empire simply not learning from their own mistakes.
They just want to fight, and I don't hate the plan, but unfortunately they just are choosing the wrong times too, with so many teams around. Instead of fighting for a building complex, it is just straight up out in the open duels. Grove Street, the team currently in 2nd place, has got 2 kills towards their name, and all 4 members alive.
All 4 healthy and dandy. Again, just waiting now those final moments. Only around 22 players have fallen up until this moment. With the downs we're currently having delivered, that number will drastically fall in any given time. There goes 2 MFP to fall to the hands of Storm on request. They were called up to the action, and they were the ones to step up to the task, building it down. A nice little fort for Empire, but it's only a matter of questions of how long will that last you.
We've got a questionable set of defenses there as Siphon actually got a knock onto one of the members of Storm on request, but they are out in the zone. Reactive had to take some damage getting down to low ground, but Nosferatu's able to get the knockdown. That's a 1 player left to go here for Typhon. The nades are starting to push them out of their positions as Grove loses 3. The knockdowns, the kills. TBA is ripping them apart, but Storm on request is ready to take down this final member. Tiny7 tosses the nade. Grove Street eliminated, but Typhon still fighting for their life.
Reactive could not react in time, and it's a tragedy. Oh, a travesty, whatever you want to consider it. And Tiny might be the one to fall to the storm. Yes, he does. Typhon, the last one to stand, won't be able to handle it through. No time to heal. Attempted collaborative shot at the very end for deliberate kills if he can get him maybe a bit of complimentary points, but that's as far as it could have gotten them with the situation they were currently handed off and cornered into. Nades there, Shiplast will be having to deal the damage. Now his TBA are struggling to find themselves out of this pinched up wall. Another one from Storm falls, and Storm on request. It's ironic how you end up going out.
Both those 2 players dropping out in a way, and the final kill will go to the Chins. They've got Storm on request eliminated. Empire on the back ropes as well. 8 teams left alive. Everyone's so close, but yet so far from those placement points.
True magnum opus for Mira here. We saw some shots all the way from backside, and while those Shinobis, the last standing pillar that Empire have to offer, it may be the only one they can truly rely on. Maybe those placements just get it to 1 extra nade onto Brightside, as it is all going to be turning dark for him. Savage with a kill of their own, Mira with 2. This is that backline I'm talking about, and fakes in, no fake for the pros. He simply sticks to his gun, his intuition, and makes sure those dots are connected, and as long as he can get some aggression like all these teams having an absolute bloodbath between each other. Shots are being shot and much more to be delivered, as you might as well call it the time of Armageddon.
Empire Gaming will fall to said Armageddon, and that means every team is starting to earn some of those juicy placement points. For Mira, the 3 kills they have, plus their tally, they've got 17 kill points in total on the day, but need to hit that reset. They lose a knockdown towards Kraskow, and that's going to be just 2 members fighting here for TBA. It is the back and forth. Lots of teams have lost members, but it's who can finish off the job as Vixen takes down another.
Oh, Fairy Tale fighting for their life, but let's take a look at Mira's. Vixen has been off on an absolute shriek. These kills have been raining in heavy and hot at the same time. I might as well feel my hot feet going off, melting, and Vixen finds the final one of 7 Gaming has dropped down as the 7th team, ironically, but Mira still keeping their board on deck. All 4 players, is that what I see? An absolute powerhouse of a team, not letting go of the brakes, and currently this team, they just keep on rolling.
Pushing their way out of the divot. They've got all 4 members still standing, and we look away for 1 second, and they're already up to 6 kills on just this game. That puts them on 20 over the course of 3, and we're not even into the end phase just yet. A back and forth as Fairy trades one with the Savages, but Savage only down to Zen. 1 player left, make that nothing. Mira, the final kill on them.
Feeling the bottleneck. Oh, Fairy Tale are down to the final 2. Ogiri having a bit of a bout. A battle, you could say, trying to fight him off, and TBA will lose their life in the process of it. And now we will officially be down to the final 4. Fairy Tale with 1 trying to pick up the 2nd. Same situation for CC. Chopped Chins trying to get their 4th to maximize out the potential of their victory. Mira already looking steady and strong, as Ogiri might have 1 loss, but they can still put up a fight like from the very beginning.
They're just a team fight team, and getting 3 players here into this end zone, especially with control over these tree line houses, is just going to aid in terms of their angles that they can prioritize. You look at CC, one of the 2 teams with 4 players left alive here in this end zone. Aogiri with 3, Fairy with 2, but this is going to be very interesting. We're only in phase 6.
Here comes some shots right beneath the grass hops. And Aogiri there will have an attempt, an A for effort. Fairytale and Mira having to exchange 1 for 1, but that's as much as we're going to be going off of. A lot of smoke snake. Fairytale still holding strong, and only 1 player, but in the end eliminated. But the damage dealt to Mira is absolutely astounding, and no team seems to be able to get there in time to take advantage and take him out while they're hurt. They're still looking up their wounds, but those wounds will get nicely patched up, and Mira are back in the game.
I mean, they just took a nicely isolated fight. They played in that divot perfectly, and now we're down to 3 teams. Mira, that is going to escalate them to an absolutely huge kill point game. Now the question is, can they finish it with a chicken dinner right at the end of it? This is a lot different of an end zone than we've had in the past 2 games. There are a lot of healthy teams. It's going to be very important to take those different angles while not being dropped in a 1v1 fight.
It would be heartbreaking, but currently down to the top 3 teams. Again, it's going to matter most. Now, Aguirre, those points would come in handy. You've only gotten 4 kills, and an extra couple could serve you nice and well. But as well, Mira right now definitely have the most potential of them all. Look at them building up a very nice base for themselves out of vehicles alone. And vehicle manslaughter could be incoming any second. Chop Chins having a real rough time of resetting, and everyone just sticking down their guns. And again, it's all down to third partying here.
Who strikes first, who falls first, and who is able to get the pounce on that final 1v1 team fight. Where obviously all these teams need some points to continue on their day, but I feel like more than anything, Aguirre needs a good finish here. They entered this match rather, with just 6 points, and it looks like the Chins, the team in first place, are the first to lose a member.
Oh, Mira! Oh, they're causing chaos! And Chop Chins have been eliminated! All 4 players still intact! This is a full chain of events, and taking it long range, trying to pick them off one by one. Aguirre have not found succession, which is going to be allowing Mira here to pick up on the pace, find where these shots are coming through, and trace them right back to the position of this Aguirre tree team. And this is where the final push will start coming through.
That's very important, like you mentioned. That reset, there's usually a third party when we get to see the first 2 teams fight, but Mira is just that good of a team fighting team. They've got a great position out on the outskirts, and they're actually inside of that next zone. Aguirre, they don't really have to move either. This could cause a little bit of a stalemate, prioritizing those sniper shots, and who better than SH to try and open it up as well as SDF.
Oh, rapidly decreasing. The zone will get smaller in about 20, or at least the ascension will begun. And currently we're looking to have a bit of a rise up here. Come on, Mira, what's the move? What's the thought? Spreading out, hammering down this half circle just to nicely close in onto the final 3 of Aguirre. But keep in mind, Aguirre here find themselves a single kill. And Mira, you will be down to equal standards when it comes down to the man count.
I like this kind of flank play, though, from Secret, trying to at least prioritize some damage on a sidewinding angle, but it's just a straight-up team fight versus team fight. There are a +4 point differential on the line for that chicken dinner, and obviously for Aguirre, you just need some kills as well. Even if you get second place here, you need to find a way to finish off some members to earn some points. I mean, 12 kills from Mira in this game. They've already guaranteed themselves an 18-point game.
Mira here have had so many moments where they look to seek out the #1 spot, but just couldn't prevail through till the very end. But now, in map number 3, they're feeling reincarnated, they're looking to be stargazing, and while shutting out the stars from the eyes of Aguirre, that's their plan in mind, writing it down on notepad, and looking to have a bot for themselves. But Secret sends, he takes the shot, he misses, and that could have been a huge opportunity, but that will be a whiff for later to regret.
They're going to know the position, but was it tactical enough to pull them out of their rivet? Both teams now have to make a move entering Phase 8, and especially with that barrel, the important thing, I feel like for Secret, that helmet is shattered, so if you go for a sniper peek and expose your head, it could cost you dearly.
It could cost you dearly. We talk about D's, dire it is. That's a down onto SH. And another one for Mira. We could be having a 4v1 situation, one that's basically unwinnable with what we've been seeing up until now. Slowly starting to close in, even on the card, taking all sorts of gambles, going in for the drive-by. The shots are ready. It's a down. And now Giri are not letting go of this team. They will fight back at any given opportunity. This tree being your last saving grace currently as you're sticking down to the corner, smokes out to cover your position. But oh, the shots are taken. Cowan, he finds one more for the final touch and get in the pickup. Aogiri have reclaimed it, but the store has claimed one of your own players, and it has gone from a 4v3 to a 2v2 position.
That res was really nice onto SH, dropping some more smokes all the way around, as it does look like Aogiri is going to have to move here very, very soon. Clearing out through the car, the long-range shots are good. Fauna cleans it, and it's Mira Gaming, Game 3 victors.
Whew. Yeah, I mean, they definitely had it. Since the beginning, they were a reigning team. They proved not only to be a very fragmentative team, but also shown